Alright, I'm going to do another quick video this morning. This will be weights part 2 since I am still under the weather. I'm going to be discussing the async network I/O. This one's pretty straightforward. And one thing I will also start off this by saying is that this video is definitely not, the purpose of this video is not to create finger pointing, excuse me, between people, because I realize that may, hey, it's your fault, or hey, that's your fault. I mean, that could happen with this. And then the other thing too is that this video is assuming that you have defined what's normal in your environment with your database, your network, your application, because this weight type would not be considered abnormal for certain things, such as timings of some ETL processes. Okay, don't put out a campfire when you're trying to make s'mores. Okay, that's you want the fire to burn then, right? You don't want to be putting it out then. Okay, generally speaking, when I have troubleshooted this one, it is due to the application, and it is the application can't keep up with SQL Server. To give you kind of an analogy of what that would look like, imagine if you and I had an agreement where I was supposed to type everything you said, and some of you are probably phenomenal speakers in the sense that you can talk really fast, right? But I have to keep up with what you say, right? Well, what would happen if my typing speed limited how fast you could talk? Then it doesn't matter how fast you can talk. The bottleneck is how fast I can type. So think of that being the case. If the application can't process the data as fast as SQL Server can send the data, it doesn't matter how fast SQL Server can send the data, right? Your query may be able to be completed in a half a second. Great, you can give them 1 million records that quickly. Good for you. Problem is their application can't quite keep up with that. And so that's why I put a point 4 there, which is always remember that your environment is only as strong as your weakest bottleneck. Your bottleneck may not be SQL Server, okay? There are some times in which this is an issue of the network, and I can think of a couple of times in which there was just one box had a lot of resources available for it, and the other box just didn't. It was minor, and so it's kind of hard to explain this in a way. But how is something going to be able to receive data if it doesn't have any resources to receive data in the first place? So it can only process very little at a time, right? So, you know, it's kind of like if you have a mailbox that can only have envelopes stuck in it but not boxes, and your house doesn't allow you to receive boxes. So it doesn't matter what you order from Amazon Prime. If it's going to come in a big box, you're not going to be able to get it because you don't have the availability to receive that, right? Whereas you'll be able to receive anything in envelopes. But that's going to completely limit what you can ship to yourself, right? And so that's kind of the same thing, is sometimes it's about what can be received, or vice versa. Again, generally, you're going to want to look at the application and work with the application developers, or if you're developing the application, look at how you're actually processing those data.